Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another broadcast of the Lawrence Report. And on tonight's broadcast, we'll be discussing episode 2 of Summer House, Martha's Vineyard. And the team is still going through the process of everybody finding out that Alex and Summer was smashing, basically, right? And we do see that Bria is going to get Simon. He's going to basically be coming back to Martha's Vineyard this summer. You know, that's her man, that's her boo. So we can expect Simon to make an appearance eventually. Now, let's get back to those good old smashing, right? So we see the fellas, they are sitting around, and Alex is still kind of upset about the information leaking about him and Summer, right? Because he's still creeped out about the whole picture about the whole picture situation, right? And as the fellas are sitting around, because the whole situation with Alex and Summer, Alex is completely turned off by just her presence, right? So this guy Nick asked, would you rebeat? Basically saying, would you smash again? And I, even Amir's face is shocked. Like, what the heck is rebeat? I'm like, yo, this dude right here, Nick, is a wild, wild man. Again, Alex is turned off. He ain't got nothing. He don't want nothing to do with her no more. Period. Right. And at the same time, shout out to Amir, man. He's actually a real, real good friend. Preston's dealing with the death of his father, right? And him and his father, they had a couple issues growing up. His father really wasn't, in his life. And I love how Amir, checked up on him. That's what we should do as black men, period, is checking up on our fellow brother to make sure that they are in a good space mentally and physically. So shout out to Amir for doing that right there. And as the episode continues, tonight's theme, they are going to have a decades party. So all the cast members are going to be getting dressed up from a character from back in the day. And this party is going to get very interesting in more than one way. Now, I thought that this party idea this decade themed party idea was a very dope thing that they was about to do, right? But when it came up to Nick dressing up as Arthur Ashe, some people didn't even know who Arthur Ashe was. Now, keep in mind, all these people on the show, they all went off to college, well educated. I'm pretty sure they made great amounts of money in their careers. But how in the world did you not know who Arthur Ashe was? So Nick had to come through, give the cast an explanation of who Arthur Ashe was, because apparently some people don't know enough Black and American history, period. Now, keep in mind, the drinks are flowing and things are about to take a bad turn, unfortunately. They're playing this card game, and there is a question in the card game basically saying who is the worst dressed, right? And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Summer who announced that it was Shanice as the worst dressed person in the house. Shanice got offended and she went upstairs crying, and I believe it was Bria that went to go check on her. And Shanice admitted that, she doesn't have any money. So I'm not trying to be judgmental when I say this right here, but shouldn't, as a young Black professional, right? Shouldn't we have, money saved up in our bank accounts, right? I mean, she looks like she dresses pretty well to me. I didn't think she was worst dressed in the house, but she got offended by this big time, and she's talking about her job was transferring her and things of that nature right there. So the card game took a turn for the worst. But outside of that, I think everybody outfits was pretty dope from the way everybody was dressing up as somebody from the decades ago. I couldn't tell if Amir was just getting pissed off or just bored, with all the twerking that was going on in this episode right here whenever they got done with the decades theme party. So Amir, he decided to go check up on his girl, and we saw Nick. He even decided to check up on his girl, but we gotta talk about Nick. We are going to discuss Nick. We know that Nick gets a little bit too touchy, around the women, and we will discuss that later on in this episode right here. So stay tuned for that right there. But I did love how those men, they did decide to check up on their girlfriends respectfully. And speaking of checking up on loved ones, we saw Jordan. She called her dad. And Jordan has been dealing with alopecia, right? And we know for Black women, we know that their hair is a part of their crown, right? In fact, it's sacred, because Beyonce just came out with her own hair products called Sacred. I know y'all like that segue right there that I just did. But yeah, so shout out to Jordan. I don't know why, whenever she went on this photo shoot, I think she said they made her get a relaxer or perm. I can't remember which one, but it caused, some hair damage to her hair. So she is, getting these deals and trying to get her confidence back as a woman when it comes to wearing wigs and just dealing with her hair in general. So I'm happy for Jordan. My heart goes out to her, hoping that everything will work out for her when it comes to her hair and her hair care and all those things right there. We know that Amir, he likes to work out, right? So he decides to take some of his cast members with him to a local gym, and they do end up working out, right? But at the same time, there's a conversation that is going on around when it comes to Summer potentially being a bully, right? Because we feel like she basically kind of, is kind of aggressive sometimes towards certain women in the house. So we will see, how that confrontation, will go throughout this season with her being a bully. My last video, I basically said that I fully expect Noelle to go after Alex, right? And that seems to be what she's about to do. She actually has a conversation with Summer addressing, the situation with Alex. Like, and she wants to know, is he basically a free agent? Is it okay if I go after him? Will you get offended? And Summer's like, listen, if you want him, go for him, but I'll let you know, he not going to be about that commitment thing. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be about smash and dash. So, Noelle, if you go do this right here, do it at your own risk. And towards the end of this right here, we see a chat with the fellas, right? And they're basically addressing Nick about him being touchy and handsy with a lot of the women in the house. And I think for him, I think that it is a natural thing. I don't think he's doing it on purpose. I just think that he's, I can't find the words to exactly say, what he's doing, but I just think it's just a natural thing when he's around women. I don't think he means any harm, but a lot of times women can get uncomfortable, right? So he is kind of shocked and perplexed by this, that, Summer, for example, she didn't tell him, about, how he feels, whenever he's touching some of these women in the house. He's kind of shocked that these women, they never really addressed him about it. So he ends up going to them, while they're sleeping. And he asked them, do I make y'all uncomfortable? Am I touching y'all too much? And that's how the episode ends right there. But, we will see, how the ladies in the house address him when it comes to him being too touchy and hands-on with some of the women in the house, right? And like I always do, two of my favorite scenes. I love the workout scene right there. And I also love the brotherhood between the men, right? They came to him. That's what men should do. They came to him saying, hey, man, when you think that you are invading these women privacies, we need you to calm down a little bit. And that right there, to me, that is a sign of brotherhood. Calling out your fellow brother when he's doing something that is just uncomfortable towards, other women, right? So please comment below, share your thoughts with me. And as always, thank you for tuning in to the Lawrence Report.